Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
How is everybody?
Morning.
We got a few new faces on here that we'll be introducing today. It's nice to see you. Good morning, Chris. Hi, Lisa. Megan.
Hello.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started with today's team meeting. You guys have heard us talking for the last couple of weeks about Mega Camp. Lisa, do you want to speak to the registration and the sweepstakes that's going on through tomorrow? You're muted. She's fixing.
Okay.
There we
So
go.
I'm just gonna bring up the actual Mega Camp website because I feel like that really just gives a good idea of what you can expect for this particular Mega Camp experience this year. So let me just do that quickly. I think I've just stopped this here. Okay. Alrighty, so if you haven't been to the website recently or at all yet, you'll notice that there's a lot that's been added. So you can go on here and just learn a little bit about Mega Camp and how it's different. So it's not going to be delivered on Zoom. This is a platform that you've probably not seen before. There's artificial intelligence built into it. It's going to be a really cool platform. So this just gives you an idea of what it looks like. There's 5 focused breakout tracks: leads, listings, leverage, luxury, and commercial. There's going to be your regular general session. So you're going to have a panel with Gary Keller. He'll do a keynote speech. Josh Team is going to speak a couple of times. So you'll have those general sessions as well. You can curate your experience, so you can customize it to however you want for those particular breakout sessions. Here's how you're going to be networking. This way, this year, it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be all virtual. And then there's going to be a virtual exhibit hall. So, I think it's safe to say that a lot of us are a little bit zoomed out. So it's nice that this platform looks completely different and feels completely different. So if you haven't thought about registering, again, it's only $109. It's for 3 full days. You can kind of plug in as you have time. Typically, this training is $800, and so you're saving $700 in the ticket, you're saving hotel expenses, you're saving flight expenses. So anyway, if you haven't thought about signing up, we are just really encouraging everybody to sign up. It's a little over $100, and if it can help you boost your business and help you grow and run your business, why not do it, right? If you want to speak to the sweepstakes, I'm not exactly sure the details on that.
Yeah, I mean, from my understanding, there are prizes that range from, I think, like they said, $500 to $2,000. I think there's going to be like 6 winners in a category where you can win some KW swag. Then I think there's a grand prize winner that gets a couple of books or a series of books signed by Gary Keller. So if you're going to sign up anyway, do it before the end of today, because the sweepstakes runs through. Is it today or tomorrow, Lisa? Today? Tomorrow? Anyway,
Really
do it today.
Question. I just added the information this morning.
Yeah, do it today, I guess would be the best piece of advice. And to Lisa's point, they are estimating over 50,000 agents, not just KW agents, but agents across the country, across brokerage lines, are going to be logging into Mega Camp this year. And I got to believe, guys, that every single one of us is going to take at least one nugget away from this that is going to help us secure an extra piece of business. So, that likely is going to more than pay for your $109 investment. So don't think you can go wrong there. It's tricky, as you guys have all come to learn, to continue to provide really great training at a high level when we're doing everything virtually. So, I don't know when the next opportunity like this is going to come about from international. I'm guessing that we'll do Bold in the fall like we did in the spring. It will be a different experience, but it also allows an opportunity for those of you who don't have, a couple $1,000 every year to hop on that plane and stay overnight in a hotel and travel to Austin to participate in Mega Camp. This is an amazing opportunity that may or may not come again in the future, barring all things are back to, I don't know if they'll ever be back to normal, but back to the way that they were pre-pandemic. So love for you, as many of you guys to join us as possible.
Okay, we are running a back to school event. And so, you know, we've gotten to the point now where we can run an event where we can be safely social distancing and making sure that we, you know, are keeping everybody safe for this type of an event. So it's called Drive Through and Donuts. So these are the locations we're running it at. We will be having a similar event in our Onalaska location as well. So more to come on that soon. Basically, it's just an opportunity for anybody. So, you know, clients, you know, feel free to just blast this out to your database. And it's just an opportunity for them to come through, grab a coffee, grab a donut, and donate some school supplies. So we've got a lot of schools in every area that are in need. And so we'll be donating those supplies to different schools in these different areas. But we just are encouraging you guys to share this as much as you can with your clients and customers, because we just want to get, you know, as many people through as we can. We really want, you know, to be able to have some sort of sense of normalcy where we're getting together a little bit, but again, we're safely social distancing. So, anything to add on that? Katie, I don't know if you're on.
She's on.
Oh, okay, perfect. Otherwise, you know, that's pretty much everything in a nutshell there for this event. So any questions on that?
Kat and Lauren, you both look like the cats that swallowed the canary. What's happening in that conference room? You're both muted, but I can tell that you're both up to no good.
We were just appreciating this wonderful volunteering event that we're super excited to be part of.
Yay, good. I expect to see you there, Lauren. All right, moving along. Bucket fills. We always take an opportunity to fill buckets during team meetings. They say the highest form of energy is gratitude, and certainly a lot of things happening I think in the world right now that are challenging, and also it's important to pay attention to the things that we're grateful for. So if you guys want to take a minute, jot some things down. If anybody wants to shout any out, feel free to do that as well. Take a minute to reflect. I don't know what that, am I the only one who can hear that noise? Can you guys hear that noise too?
I hear it.
Okay, I think it's gone. All right.
I am thankful for leadership staff always having our back and helping even just the most mundane questions. You know, Lisa's ready to stop walking to the bathroom to answer a question. All of you, you're wonderful. So thank you.
Suck up. Thank you, Lauren.
Not a suck up. I'm being honest.
We appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate the fact that Megan is driving and mobile and still took the time to tune in to the team meeting.
I'm parked now.
Oh, okay. Well,
Right up the street. I'm at 5 West.
It does show. Oh, you gonna go have lunch?
Yes.
Nice. It does show what a mobile world we are. I love the fact that we can do this, right? What else? We have any other shout outs that we want to share? Anybody? I want to shout out to the staff for putting together the school supply event that we're going to be, throwing this week. I think, obviously school is on a lot of minds of our agents and their families and the kids. And so I love the fact that, even though it may be small on the large scale of things, that we're doing something to give back to the communities that we office and work in. So thank you, ladies, for putting all of that together. All right, if we don't have anything else, we're gonna move on. Lisa, I'll let you take this slide away.
So some of you may have seen in the news that KW Cares has donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to the wildfires and Hurricane Laura. So they're continuing to collect gift cards. So if you want to send a gift card, these are the addresses that you would send to. So we can put this up in our closed Facebook group so that you guys have the information as well. But it's amazing to me how much KW Cares actually does when we have these, you know, events that happen where our agents are really in need of some help, and you know, how much we actually are able to help them. So if you have the opportunity to be able to donate a gift card, you know, here's the information, and we would love that.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Lisa. And for those of you who are newer to us or new to us, you may or may not be aware of the fact that Keller Williams has a fleet, an entire fleet of semi trucks that when these natural disasters happen throughout the country that are loaded with generators and tools and, you know, all kinds of things that are needed in these, you know, situations. And a lot of our Keller Williams families are directly impacted and affected by some of these natural disasters. So I get goosebumps. I got them right now every time I think about it. And anytime I go to family reunion or mega camp and I see one of those semis, you know, parked, it's just another reminder of why I love being associated with, you know, such an amazing company. To my knowledge, we're the only real estate brokerage that has that. I'm not saying that other brokerages don't donate to worthy causes, but we literally have a fleet of semis at the ready to be deployed anytime there's some sort of natural disaster. And, you know, I just can't even imagine being in one of these areas coupled with having dealt with the pandemic and still dealing with the pandemic this year. I just can't even imagine how that disrupts people's lives and their livelihoods and their businesses. So every little bit helps. Thanks for sharing that, Lisa. All right, we have some new faces to welcome to the Market Center. I think Chris, yep, Chris is on here. Hi, Chris. Everyone give Chris a wave, or feel free to go into the chat and welcome him. Chris Robson has recently joined us, as well as Nick. I don't think I see Nick on here.
Working.
Is he working? He's
Yep.
He's a friend of Jennifer. So Miss Jennifer Walsh introduced us to Nick. So he is new as well. They will both be based out of Rochester. So please, if you happen to come across either one of them or see them, say hello and welcome them on board. And we just signed another one last night, Miss Brittany Gross, and she is going to be a part of our Austin office. So we are super excited to continue to grow in the Austin area. And I know the Austin peeps are really excited to welcome another agent in their office down there. So you likely aren't going to see Brittany a whole lot in Rochester, although she was just here last night. And you'll certainly see her in the closed Facebook group, as well as the others that have recently joined us. So please do what I know you guys do really well and just give them a warm welcome and make them feel at home. All right, and we have a new capper in the house, and her name is Trudy. Whoop, whoop. Congrats, Trudy, on capping. Capping day is the best day. I hope you're going to do something nice for yourself, and I know that she and her husband have been very busy at renovating their cabin this summer. So congrats to, and she may be there now, congrats to Trudy on capping, and enjoy that 100%. All right,
Okay,
take it away.
training calendar. Thanks to Christina for putting together an amazing training calendar once again for the month of September. A couple different classes we will point out. So tomorrow from 1 to 2, Kelly DeMail is doing a master faculty class for buyer forms. So this is going to be all of the forms you need to sign up a buyer for that buyer to work exclusively with you. So if you're a new agent and you haven't taken this class, please do hop on. It's really going to be some great information. Kelly does a great job when she's doing any training in the Market Center. Really does a nice job of explaining the forms and being able to interpret them to a potential buyer. So great class coming up there tomorrow. It will be recorded on our Facebook group as well if you're not able to make it. We'll be talking about the Wealth Building Wednesday here in a second. So I'm going to skip over that. Erin is running her open house class on Thursday, the 3rd from 10 to 11. We do have that one recorded on our Facebook page, but it's a great class. You know, Erin talks about how she really built her business holding open houses. So great information coming out of that one. Our back to school drive is going to be on Friday the 4th. Just another reminder for that. And we've got a few other things happening next week, budget and business planning with Katie. That's a great class. If you haven't, attended the class or you haven't sat with Katie on a one-on-one basis to go over budget and business planning, I would definitely recommend it. It really gives you a chance to focus in and figure out exactly what you want your goals to be and how to get there, and keeping expenses low. So that's a good one. And then of course we've got all kinds of other classes happening. So, just please take the time to look at the training calendar every month. There is a lot of work that goes into adding these classes, getting with their master faculty, having them teach classes, and we want to make sure that we are, getting them as much attendance as possible. So.
Yeah, and please, to that point, if there are any classes that you guys want on the calendar, let us know. I know Jen Walsh last month requested that the open house class be put on the calendar, and I feel like we taught it towards the end of the month, and here it is again on the training calendar again for September. So if there's something that you guys, are really feeling a need to sit through a class on, or just have additional knowledge and content on, let myself, Lisa, Christina, Katie, somebody know, and we will do our absolute best to get that on the training calendar for you. So we want to hear from you guys. We want your input.
Are they always recorded?
Yeah, they're all recorded.
So is there a way for me to find the one that Kelly did on commissions?
Oh, that one. Yes, there is. That one's on I know that one's on our YouTube channel. I don't know if that one's on our Facebook page, but I'll make a note, Megan, and make sure it's on there. Yeah, the one where she's like, don't lose your commission or something like that. Yep.
I watched it after the fact. It's
okay.
Somewhere.
Yeah, I heard great things about that class. Maybe we could just also post it, like you said, Lisa, in the closed Facebook group so everyone can see it.
I know it's recorded. We'll get it on there.
Yeah, I don't think I even knew it was happening until like the hour before email, and then I just texted Kelly and said, "Are they going to record this?" Because I would have been there had I, been able to, but.
That was kind of a last minute one. I had put out a plug on Facebook asking who all would be interested, because I was just sick of seeing not being negative, seeing a lot of agents.
Right, you put it in our Facebook group.
Yes.
You asked about it.
Yeah, so it's just like, who else would be interested in this? And then she was like, oh, I'll teach it. And I'm like, awesome, thank you, Kelly.
Right.
Okay. Erin, do you want to talk about Wealth Building Wednesday?
Sure. So this is something that International started. It's through KW Connect. Don't just tune in, get this out to everybody. They want us to get it out to you guys. It's a series about how they are attempting to change how people think about profit, and it's sharing goal setting. So Keller Williams obviously feels that is a vital part of our businesses and how we run our businesses, understanding profit and the power that it can have, in our lives. Most of you, who have been with us for a while have seen what that looks like, through things like profit share and what that does. So this is a series that you can log into. I don't know if these are housed anywhere after the fact. So you might want to, hop on these live. Maybe we can get some information to find out whether or not you can go back and retrieve previous Wealth Building Wednesday recordings. But the next one is tomorrow. Gosh, tomorrow, September 2nd already. It's crazy. Tomorrow at 3:00. So we just have it on the calendar as a reminder of some additional training and information, education that you guys can plug into if you want. I've heard great things about it. I've not watched one yet.
Okay, for those of you that have not seen the lower report for July yet, another amazing month. You guys broke records. You guys are outpacing the market in almost every single metric. Again, you continue to show that in the midst of a pandemic, your businesses are not only, surviving, but thriving. So kudos to all of you. The contracts written was an especially exciting one, up 1,917% for contracts written as compared to the rest of the market, so as compared to CMAR. So really exciting, and we're continually breaking our own records as well. So just an amazing job, you guys. Just keep it up. Continue doing what you're doing. It's working. You're running and you're growing your businesses exponentially. So we're super proud of y'all.
Absolutely. And I'm really excited to see the listings taken number up just over 140%. I think that's a good sign of, what's to come. And as you all know, those who have been selling this year, listings are few and far between. It's a seller's market. So the more of those we can secure as an office and as a company, I think the better everyone is going to be, and it's going to provide that stability that I think we're all looking for, particularly because we are starting to come into the time of year where we see some of that seasonality slow down, right? I suspect that we're going to see that regardless of what the year has presented to us so far with the pandemic. We're still likely, even though we are in what appears to be a pretty strong market still right now, we are likely going to see that seasonality start to come into effect in the next month or two. So even more important to stay just really cognizant of the fact that how important it is to focus on listings. Anybody want to add anything to that at all? Have any questions about that? Any comments you want to make? Okay, I hope you're all using this report in your listing presentations and your buyer consultations, because those numbers speak for themselves, and there's no gray area. I mean, those are the numbers that we track. Those are the numbers that are reported. They're not estimates, they're facts. So they're very powerful. And hopefully you're all using them.
Alrighty, mastermind time.
Okay, so I came across a phenomenal video. Hopefully you guys are all paying attention to, we get that Outfront magazine. Everyone should be getting an email. I believe it's called, I don't know if the one you guys get is called The Lead, but the one that I do is called The Lead, and it has links to our most recent Outfront magazine in it. That is just chock full of so much valuable content that we could be using. And there was a link to a video, and I can't remember the guy's name. We're going to see it here in a minute. But he is from the Keller Williams Research Department. There he is, Jim Talbot. And what he's done is this is a 30-minute video. We're not going to watch the whole thing. We're going to watch about the first 5-6 minutes of it. But I really want you to listen to the 3 questions that he's going to put out there, answer, and focus on. There are a lot of clients right now that we're working with that are really looking to us as the real estate professionals as to, how has the market been affected by the pandemic? We're in the throes of a recession right now as we speak, and they want to know, how is the market reacting to the recession? What are the predictions, if you will, with regard to how it will continue to respond to the recession. And I would highly encourage you, and we will post the link in the closed Facebook group, to go back and watch the full 30 minutes. But I wanted to watch, like I said, about the first 6 minutes with you guys, and then kind of just mastermind a little bit around these questions that he's going to present. So Lisa's going to go ahead and start that for us.
Okay, hopefully you'll be able to hear it. Do you guys hear it?
Hey everybody, and welcome to another July edition of the Market Update for 2020. So funny story, today I was actually supposed to be at my other job as a before model for barbershop photos, and it fell through. So the KW Connect people said, why don't you come on and do a quick update to the Market Update? So here we are. So we're going to do a quick look today at a couple of new numbers that come in, and I want to take a look at some of the questions that I got from the last market update and sort of how they frame, what we think of the market for the months to come. So since I just did the July numbers, the June numbers for the July update last week. We're not going to dive into those a lot. It's available on Connect on Demand if you'd like to go see it, and I'd encourage you to. There's a lot of really cool information in there. But so we're not going to spend a lot of time on that today. Instead, what I want to focus on are a couple big questions. So let's get into it. As always, feel free to use this as part of your presentations to your clients, to inform, to help educate them about this crazy market that we're living in right now. And we have Slido going right now. So if you have any questions, send it out on Slido, and I'll do my best to try and answer it. So here's what I want to think about today. In my mind, here are three big questions for the housing industry. And, spoilers, I'll tell you right now, if you're looking for answers to those questions, I don't have them yet. So I'm not going to be definitive. But, I do want to point out some of the data points today that I think are pointing honestly in contradictory directions. So we've got points for and points against. So we'll talk about it a little bit. But first and foremost, so right now, I think from a national level and most of the regions that I've looked at, we're in just an incredibly hot market. Really hot. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. So is that current market a continuation of the hot market that we saw pre-pandemic? So building up through the latter half of 2019, January and February are both great months before COVID-19 hit. So is it a continuation of that? Or are we simply seeing a boost from pent-up demand from the lockdown? So all the people who really weren't able to buy or didn't feel comfortable buying maybe in March and April and parts of May, are they coming out now and we're seeing that swell the numbers? And I want to be clear, it's not necessarily an either or. Almost certainly there's elements of both in there, but where that balance moves really depends on what we expect to see for the rest of the year. If we're back into the hot market, then we expect these numbers to be up, year over year for the rest of 2020, barring a change in the circumstances. If it's mostly pent-up demand, then we'll burn through that and we'll settle down some level where we don't know. So the second question, how will the recession affect the housing industry? We are in a recession right now. I'm going to, even though I have no information, I'm going to show you the GDP number later just to really drive home the fact that we are in a recession. And, recessions obviously affect people's spending, affect their economic security, whether they can get a mortgage, whether they feel comfortable getting a mortgage, all of that really comes into play. And how much is that going to affect the housing industry? This is very much not like the last recession. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But we can't just look back to the period of 2008 to 2012 and say it's going to be like that, or even the recession before that in the early aughts. This is really an unusual circumstance. It's both deeper and narrower than what we've seen before. And then lastly, and I want to be clear, we're not going to spend much time on this one today, but it's hugely important, is how will the ongoing pandemic affect the housing industry going forward? Obviously, this is outside of my area of expertise. Many will say that the other two are outside of my area of expertise, but I'm still going to stumble on those. But I'm not going to try and talk about the pandemic at all. But here's the thing. Most municipalities at a county level, at least in the U.S., have a dashboard that they've set up or somewhere where they're reporting case numbers in their area. Honestly, I keep the one for Travis County, where I live here in Austin, up on my computer all the time, and I'm checking it daily. This matters. So if you see a spike in cases in your area, especially a spike in hospitalizations, generally that's what a lot of municipalities look to trigger response. So it could bring further lockdowns. On the other hand, if you see the numbers shift, it could ease the lockdown measures. People could get back to work. Businesses that maybe were affected could open up. So this is really important. And you've heard me talk in the past about, the importance of matching up the national numbers in real estate with your local numbers in real estate. And that hasn't changed. That's still hugely important. But I'd say in this area, really the national number for COVID-19, it practically is meaningless. What really matters is your local area, the responses, the degree to which people have been infected, the path forward. for COVID-19 varies widely from market to market. So you might live in an area that's really barely been touched, or you might live in an area that was massively impacted. And what sort of lockdown you have, how real estate's carrying on, how comfortable and confident people feel, all is different. So you need to pay attention to those numbers. Find that dashboard, Google it. That's the easiest way to find it. Check with someone else you know, contact your city. Almost certainly has resources available for you, but pay attention to that. Just a few moments a day, checking that, keeping an eye on it, gives you a real indication of what may be happening in your local market. So, the housing market. So I want to recap very quickly, nothing to add to these numbers, the existing home sales number, or the sales numbers that we talked about last month. So
Okay, awesome. So guys, there's been a couple of you who requested in the chat for us to share that link with you, and we absolutely will. I encourage you all to even just rewatch that first 5-6 minutes. It's a really great video. What he'll go on to talk about a little bit is how we have seen, and our numbers certainly reflect this as well when you look at our LOR. And when you look at the numbers that Keller Williams International tracks, is that there has been a rather big spike year over year in total sales and listings in particular in the month of July. Some significant, some double digits. And those are numbers that we didn't necessarily all see during the pandemic. So what some are saying is that means that we're returning back to a more stabilized or normal market where sellers are still wanting to sell, buyers are still wanting to buy, and they're moving forward. And they also talk about it being a testament, and I truly believe this to my core, that it's a testament to our agents adapting your business models to reflect the current climate of concern by clients during the pandemic. And the fact that, you guys, I know a lot of you, I think Lauren had to log off. She comes to mind because she would share some of the things that she incorporated, or some of her practices and her business that she changed in order to, handle still conducting business in a safe manner. And then of course, using Keller Williams technology that they provide to help you guys show properties virtually, video tours, virtual open houses, basically just adapting our models to what's currently happening around the world. So, kudos to you guys. Some of you are having your best year ever, but kudos to you guys for recognizing, the importance of pivoting and shifting the way that you were doing business early on. So, with that being said, I'm just really curious to hear your thoughts on what he just shared, and or for those of you who have changed your business and maybe adapted to doing things a little bit differently, if you'd be willing to share with the rest of us maybe some things that you've done that are working really well, and also too maybe some things that you tried that didn't work so well. So I want to open it up to some discussion from you guys and hear from you. I know you guys aren't all doing the same thing that you've always done. Kat, I think it looks like your lips are moving, but you're muted. I don't know if you're chiming in or not.
Sorry, no.
Okay. Blondie. You get used to the blonde. I love it.
Thank you.
So were you wanting to add, is there anything that you've done differently this year as far as your business goes? I hope I'm not putting you on the spot. It looked like you were trying to say something, but we couldn't hear you.
You're good. I'm on the phone right now, but I just have to hold on.
Okay.
Anything I've done differently. I think I've been really trying to get better with follow-up. And I think that's one thing I've done different, is really making sure that people aren't falling off that list of staying in contact. And so whether I don't hear back for 5 times, like, okay, it's going to take multiple touches to hear back from them.
Mm-hmm.
and even just scheduling just little like coffee dates or dinners. And I'm trying to get better at that because I can be such a homebody sometimes and want to just stay at home. So I'm like telling my husband, I'm like, okay, we're going to get out there and we're going to go to dinner and we're going to go to this and try and be as COVID friendly and wear the mask and everything like that. So yeah.
Do you find, Kat, that most folks that you're extending those invitations to are at a point now where they're ready to also, you know, get out of the house or get together and do some networking and meet?
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
So more often than not, they're saying yes and not no.
Oh yeah, I definitely think so.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. Something else you said that I want to highlight, which is so true, is I love the fact that you're recognizing and not necessarily stopping 2, 3, 4 times reaching out and not hearing back. I think sometimes what we forget, myself included, is when you don't hear back from someone right away, it feels a bit like rejection, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they must not be interested, or it's been a while since I've reached out. Maybe they're upset with me, or, you know, we just let our minds go in all these different directions when in fact, it's life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Things have just gotten busy. I'm sure that we have all experienced moments where we have like, oh gosh darn it, I need to call so-and-so back, or I haven't responded to so-and-so's email or text or whatever. And it has zero to do with us being uninterested in them or upset with them or whatever. And it's just simply a matter of life has gotten busy. And so to Kat's point, I would encourage you, when you're doing those follow-ups and when you are reaching out to clients, continue to do so until one of two things happens. Either A, they respond, or B, they tell you to stop.
Yeah,
right?
I think that was one of my fears too, was trying, like, I don't want to be that pushy, annoying salesperson. And so that's something I've gotten over this year too, is like, I'm not being annoying. Like, I feel like I'm unless I'm talking with my husband, then I feel like sometimes I may do a little annoying if I'm asking him to do something multiple times, but that's another point. So yeah, I feel like that's something I've gotten over this year. It's just like, if I'm coming from a place of gratitude and just wanting to help and being there and stuff like that, it's not annoying. So, and
Awesome.
They tell me that that's fine too.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, because it's important, I think, that all of us remind ourselves of that. What else? What else are you guys doing? What's working? What's not? What have you adapted? Or are you all just doing the same old thing and it's working?
You know, maybe it's crazy, but I'm doing a lot of the same things I've always done. I feel like, you know, I'm a very high-paced agent. So we tend to go from, you know, our first engagement with a client to being under contract in a very short period of time. And the environment, you know, certainly facilitates that and kind of accentuates, I think, the strengths that our team brings to our clients. You know, we have just, I think, an exceptional level of customer service and a response time that our clients find a little uncanny. And, you know, with the way things are right now, if you don't have that level of expectation for your team and for your clients, you don't get things under contract. So, you know, in a strange sort of way, you know, we're doing things the same way we've always done them. And the market has merely caught up to our pace of business.
I love that.
It's been you know, our best time ever, really, this spring and summer during coronavirus. I you know, I hate to celebrate a time when I know a lot of people are hurting, but it's been a really good time for our business.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Nick. Do you mind if I ask, where are you finding most of your leads coming from? Are they team generated? Are they listing generated? Is it literally just you and the team going out and shaking the bushes loose? What are you seeing? Yeah,
so, you know, we are a little bit different, and I think that everyone needs to be a little bit different in order to set themselves apart and have a niche that they focus on. You know, and our niche is investment real estate. And, you know, most of our clients are able to achieve a 25% annualized rate of return when they work with us, and we help them buy a property and we manage it and, you know, place it into service. And, you know, people are kind of fleeing other asset classes right now. People want to get their money out of the stock market, and then people are fleeing other classes even within real estate. People don't want to have money in hospitality or retail or office space. Residential is really the only thing right now that's paying the bills. And so, you know, so my wife administrates the largest Facebook group in the world of physician real estate investors, which is a very deliberate and overt lead generation tool that we have just created. I think that anyone here can go create a Facebook group or a discussion group. So I administrate a real estate investors meetup that I used to meet here at the Keller Williams office, but it meets once a month, the third Thursday of every month. I get innumerable leads from that. I teach and speak there and lead that meetup with Melissa Gregg. And then we have a email blast that we do to our investors. And we have a Facebook group just for Rochester real estate investors as well. So nothing here that's like unique or special. These are all the kind of tools that I think are available to any real estate agent, depending on the niche that they focus on. Like, let's say you wanted to dominate a certain neighborhood in Rochester or one of our surrounding communities, you could easily, like one of the agents at Family Reunion, they talked about how they have a pet parade in the farm community that they target once per year. I mean, that's an outdoor activity that could, in theory, be COVID friendly. And then they do, every door direct mail, and they door knock, and they completely dominate that niche. So I'm just using all the same tools that anyone can use to dominate any niche, and our niche is residential investment properties. If you want to invest in a single family home, we are clearly the top game in town.
I love it, Nick. That's amazing. And it's not like the niche that you're focusing on is something new. It's been around forever. It's just that you've decided to focus on it at a really high level and implement a variety of tools in order to, continue to get in front of and remain in front of people. So
my whole business is modeled after a mentor of mine in Oklahoma City. And he's a licensed real estate agent who did residential, rentals there. And I just imported that here. At the time, there were a ton of REOs and HUD foreclosures and stuff. Those are all gone right now. So you have to reinvent yourself continuously. But I invented nothing special here. I literally just took a model that another agent had that was extraordinarily successful in another market and brought it to our market and did everything that he did.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Nick. What else? Anything else that you guys are trying or have done that you either think is unique or maybe not so unique, but it's working really well? I'm curious about whether or not folks are still pretty regularly doing open houses and what kind of traffic you guys are getting at open houses now that they seem to be back in, full force and effect. Is there anyone on here that's been holding them? And if so, I'd love to hear how they're going.
Can you hear me?
Hi, Jim. I want to be wherever you're at.
I'm right here on the couch, or not on the couch, on the deck with my dog.
I see that. It looks great.
There's the dog. Anyway, I do open houses every week, regularly scheduled on my listings. One problem with open houses now, when you get a listing, they're selling so fast you don't get a chance to do an open house. So I think I would like to contact, there are other agents in our office that need open houses. I think everybody can do that. I'd like to hold open houses for anybody else that wants them. I particularly like to do open houses at vacant properties so the times are more flexible, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. What kind of traffic have you been getting, Jim? Have you been getting people, that are comfortable coming in and?
Yes, I've got a sign I put right at the door, stop, don't come in if it's occupied. And then I go out, if I remember, sometimes I don't. When they leave, go out and turn it around and welcome, come in. And I always keep the sanitary stuff out, and I try to wipe everything down, and I tell that to the people when they come in so they feel more comfortable. I furnish the socks. A lot of people don't like to wear them. Some of my listings, you don't have to take your shoes off, and I tell them that if they don't. It's just, like I say, I think we get a little frustrated. I love doing open houses. That's how we built our business when we started. And in a way, I'm starting over right now too. So it's like going back to doing open houses, feeding and working on that contact list. But all in all, open houses work. They always do.
I agree. I refer to them, and I don't mean this as a negative connotation, but I refer to them as the low-hanging fruit, right? I mean, those are people essentially that are waving their hand and letting you know they want to buy.
Yep.
So,
And if you see it, another thing, speaking about waving hands, if you drive by an open house and don't stop, something's wrong with you. You should stop because they're waving their hand too. They want to sell. It's a good time to go up to the door and tell them who you are and give them your card. And I've gotten several listings like that. And it's not that hard. It takes a little bit of guts to get up there, but you got to do it.
are you referring to for sale by owners, Jim?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
that's what I thought. You cut out there for a second. So a couple things. I have a couple questions. One was, so when you're holding an open house, are you only allowing like one party in at a time? And then if someone else comes, they have to wait until that party exits?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Is that
And I
how
think-
most people are holding opens right now? I haven't held one in a long time, so.
I don't know. That's how I do it.
Okay, well, yeah, and clearly it's working and people feel comfortable and safe.
Yes, and they do.
Something else that you said that I'm not sure what you guys are using as the normal protocol when a listing sells, right? I know that we have to update MLS, but I would venture to say that 99.9% of listings that sell are going to be contingent upon an inspection. And so if you guys aren't, I would recommend that you do. So when we have listings that are selling right now in this market and it's contingent upon an inspection, we will, update MLS because we have to, that, it's subject to inspection. But if I have an open house or my team has an open house scheduled that weekend and they accept an offer on it on Thursday or Friday, well, first of all, we put all of our new listings on the market on Fridays because we want to squeak at least one open house out of that listing if we can. And two, if I'm really good, and we'll put it on later in the week, like on a Friday, schedule an open house for that weekend. Let's just say they end up coming to terms and accepting an offer on Monday or Tuesday. It's typically going to be subject to anywhere between a 5 to 10 day inspection time frame period. I would continue to hold that house open to try, because the goal, the dirty little secret in our industry is the goal of an open house for most real estate agents is to pick up additional clients. Very few homes sell through open houses, although, a lot of us have success with that as well. But doesn't it really behoove you, and isn't it still your fiduciary responsibility to make sure that you're marketing that home should it fall apart for any reason during the inspection time frame? So by squeaking in another open house, even though it's sold, obviously you have to be honest with the people come through the open house and let them know that it is sold subject to inspection or subject to 10-day right of rescission or whatever the case may be. However, there's nothing that precludes us from being able to stack up, backup offers. So that can be a real source of frustration, to Jim's point, in this market right now. When you're focusing on open houses, they're becoming fewer and far between because they're selling so quickly, but we can be strategic in stretching them out and getting a little bit more shelf life out of them. And it really is too, in my opinion, your seller's best interest to continue to market that and hold it open until all contingencies are removed. Thoughts? You agree? Okay, good. So I would say, continue to hold those open houses, be strategic in your conversations, with the sellers, and attempt to be able to schedule as many of those as you possibly can. There's nothing that says that you can't go on the market Friday, let it ride over the weekend, because again, in my opinion, it's in their best interest to allow the opportunity for multiple offers. And you call best and highest for Monday morning or Monday afternoon, wrap things up either that day or Tuesday if you have a little bit of countering going back and forth. And then you're likely able to squeak maybe one more open house out of the deal. All right, what else? What else are you guys finding that you're challenged with? Are we still seeing, for those of you who are currently writing offers, are we still seeing a lot of multiple offers? Or do you guys feel like that slowed down a little bit?
Stronger than ever.
Yeah, stronger than ever. Yeah.
So it hasn't slowed down at all?
I've made 4 offers on 4 different houses in the last 2 weeks, and all of them had multiple offers. And unfortunately, we came out on the short end of the stick, but we do have one going now that's going pending.
Accepted. Congrats. Was there anything, Jim, that you did different in that 4th offer that might have moved you guys to the top of the pile?
Well, it took me 4 offers to get it nailed into the buyer's head that this is a tough market. You've got to bring in a really good offer before you can expect to get the home. We lost out on several because we wanted closing costs, and people weren't willing to do that. We had to learn to negotiate up instead of down.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, unfortunately with some buyers, and I find it's a lot of times with first-time home buyers who have never been through that process before, no matter how well we advise them and set the appropriate expectations up front, sometimes they just have to learn through trial and error, and you have to let them make the offer, and then when they don't get it, that's how they learn, right? That they've got to start heeding your advice.
Absolutely.
Nick, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I don't know, what other people's kind of data is. So the typical property we're writing an offer on is under 300,000, typically under 250,000. So like the lower end of the price spectrum in Rochester, Minnesota. But I can't tell you the last time I got an offer accepted that had an inspection contingency. And then 10,000 over asking seems to be the magic number. So for example, we'll write 5,000 over all the time, and that just does not ever get it. We wrote 7,000 over this past weekend, and that did not get it. But then when we do 10,000 over, that just seems to be the magic number, and our offer gets accepted. And on average, I'd say we're writing maybe 1 offer per day or every other day or something for one client or another. So we've got a decent amount of data, and that just seems to be the magic number right now. Whereas I know in the cities I've heard it's like, 30,000 over asking.
I was just going to say that was the number that popped in my head, 30 grand. Yeah.
Yep. And it's almost like a secret handshake or something like that, because as soon as we put the offer out there, no inspection contingency, 10,000 over, we're often able to get them to just accept the offer without holding on to the offer for 24 or 48 hours or whatever. But if we're at like 5,000 or 7,000 over asking, they hold out, and then when we do go to multiple offers and there's half a dozen offers in the mix, it seems like we do come out on top somewhat often at 10,000 over, but not always. So there are people out there who are apparently, no inspection contingency, 15,000 over. Now, of course, we're looking at like the freshest homes that are the most attractively priced. If something has been sitting on the market and that doesn't apply, or if it's just not priced correctly. But home that's priced correctly, it seems like 48 hours, 10,000 over asking, no inspection contingency is what we are seeing in the Rochester market under 300,000.
So 2 questions for you, Nick. One is, are you doing anything in particular when you're going in no inspection contingency on the front end to maybe help sort of insulate, if you will, any issues that might pop up after closing? So in other words, are you doing like a quick walkthrough pre-inspect somehow, or is there something that you're employing that helps negate some of those potential pitfalls after closing if you're not doing an inspection?
Yeah. So, I mean, we do represent plenty of owner occupants, but more than half our business easily is investors. So a little bit different group of people there. I make it clear that I am not a residential property inspector or anything of that nature, but I mean, I am an engineer by training, and I feel like I probably have a sharper eye than most. And then my experience is that the inspection process typically yield maybe a few $1,000s on average in remediation findings or price adjustments. I don't know what anyone else's expectations are, and like the biggest item is usually like a $7,000 to $10,000 roof, if that is a thing. And right now I would say the price handicap for inspection contingency is at least $10,000. So if I'm a listing agent and I have one offer that comes in without an inspection contingency at $290,000, and I have another offer that comes in with an inspection contingency at $300,000, I'm going to advise my client to take that offer for $290 without the inspection contingency, Heck, it may even be more than that, because when something comes back on the market with how hot it is, like you're at such a disadvantage. It could be $15,000 right now with how hot things are. So it's just, I make sure my clients know there could be issues. In my experience, I've almost never seen an inspection finding, where in total it adds up to more than 10 grand. A roof is like the biggest one. We'll walk through and like look at things and how old are the mechanicals and stuff, but we understand that we're not catching everything, and that's not the goal. The goal at this point is to get the property. So just aggressively setting expectations with the client.
Awesome. And then this question goes out to those of you who have been in multiple offer situations this year. It's very common up in the cities, and I understand that they're employed here as well, but it's just run of the mill up in the cities, escalation clauses. Are you guys using them down here regularly? Do you see them regularly? No, really. And you don't see them regularly from other agents? Interesting.
I would say
I've used them, and I've seen them too. In the last year, my escalation clauses have gotten 2 deals through.
Okay. Why do you suppose they're not common in this area? I'm just curious. Anybody?
I don't know if everybody knows how to write them properly.
Okay.
And an escalation clause, when you're going like that, going $10,000 off over, the next over asking price. If my clients don't feel comfortable with that, I'll put an escalation clause in up to the amount that they are comfortable with the understanding that they know that they may lose the property,
Right.
or they may get it too.
Yeah,
and
I
then,
think
vice versa on your listings too. We've seen escalation clauses up to $5,000 over the highest bid, and it's worked a couple times.
it seems like it's just kind of a more naive market here. When I've tried escalate, I can't say I've ever gotten anything with an escalation clause, and I stopped trying, so that's probably a negative reinforcement feedback loop there. But and then when I've been on the listing side and an escalation clause comes in, trying to explain it to my client is kind of challenging. And so the escalator may come in where it will go up to like 12,000 over asking, but we have an offer in hand that's just 10,000 over asking. And
Sure.
so it's simple and clean. There's not like a second round and we have to like disclose a portion of the offer. And so just coming in with an offer, way over asking, that's clean, that doesn't need seller concessions, that has strong finance, like that seems to be the thing that takes it. And when I am successful in getting a house, which is really hard right now, I am almost always hard closing the listing agent. So I'm never being like aggressive about it. I'm very politely aggressive. So here's an offer that's 10,000 over asking, no contingency, no concessions, strong buyer with strong financing. Do you really think, if we let this sit on the market for 48 hours and you're going to get, half a dozen more offers, you're going to get an offer stronger than this one? Don't you think, probably the best outcome would be you just take this offer right now before more offers come in? And I do think that, I'm doing everything I can to represent my client because a stronger offer might come in. But if you're using an escalator, you can't use any of those tactics. So you're kind of just at the mercy of what other offers come in. And it's a very passive tool, if that makes sense. Like sometimes we're in the house within 2 or 3 hours on market, and we have an offer in within like 4 hours on market, and I can get an offer accepted before anyone else can even see the house. And that's kind of what it takes for us to get a property right now. And if they refuse to do that, if they refuse to accept the offer, I might do like a 24-hour expiration, like a pretty aggressive expiration, or even 12-hour. But if I have to wait a few days, like I've seen things that are, 15, 20,000 over asking if enough offers come in. So I don't know. I'm very curious to hear anyone else's thoughts on it, because I feel like escalators are maybe a piece of my strategy I'm missing.
Yeah,
but that's just what I've seen.
Yeah, they can work really, really well. And just listening to you guys talk, I'm wondering if there would be enough interest in me teaching like a 20, 30-minute class, because it's not a long, extensive class. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. But I wonder if there would be enough interest for me to get a class on the calendar that's maybe 20, 30 minutes long, kind of leave some time at the end for question and answer and run through different scenarios. Is that something that you guys would be interested in us putting on the calendar?
I would be interested in attending that.
Okay, great. Anybody
I think
else?
It would be helpful. I think it'd be helpful for a lot of agents.
Okay, and to your point, Jim, too, I have seen them very poorly written, and I've seen some really good ones. And the one that we use is I'll be honest, I've R&D'd, and it's a culmination of different ones that I've received over the years, and I feel like it's a pretty good one. So I'll talk to Christina, and we'll get that on the training calendar for you guys. With that, we're at 12:01. So look at that. We're going to go ahead and call it, unless there's any other particular item that anybody wants to go over or has a question about. Going once, going twice. No?
I have one idea for a class.
Okay.
I'm going through it right now. I mentioned it to you yesterday. Training on writing offers on condos and townhouses. I have an offer on one of mine where the 10-day rescission period ran out, and I got a agent who wants to cancel. I think people should be trained more on how watching your time limits on inspections and condo 10-day rights of rescission, that kind of thing, because you can lose a sale by ignoring dates and times.
Absolutely. That's a great reminder. Yeah, we'll look at adding that as well, Jim. Maybe we can incorporate, I don't know, maybe the class that I'm now envisioning is kind of like a miscellaneous of sorts, right? Where we're going to go over escalation clauses, we're going to go over timelines, maybe some just best practices and good reminders of things that we can fine tune, if that makes sense. Okay. All right, guys, listen, have a fantastic rest of your day. Hopefully the sun comes out. Jim, you look like you're in a good spot to enjoy the weather.
Well, at least it's not raining out here.
Yeah. All right, guys, as always, thank you for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day.
Okay.
Thanks, Erin. You too.
Bye.
Bye.